Zelda Breath of the Wild. Oh my gosh.
So much fun.
This is definitely going to be a very interesting podcast because we have a lot to talk about. This game is enormous and there are so many elements we want to talk about. So, why don't we do just that? Hey guys, this is Dark Samus 288, and once again, I am joined by my usual crew. Say hello.
Yes, I
I
got
say
him!
hello for.
Oh, my
Never
bad.
mind. I saw you doing that, and I'm like, oh, he's actually doing this now, isn't he?
I'm X Factor, Detective X Factor on YouTube.
Yep.
I'm Liz, Laughing Hyena on YouTube, the Live Gamer on Twitter.
Yep.
I do sincerely apologize for interrupting. There was a tense moment.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure. Did you find a seed or something?
I don't want to talk about it. What are we talking about today, John?
Well, we are talking about a variety of things with this game. And, you know, just because this game is so massive and so much to talk about, you know, we may be here for a while, but I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. So, first of all, let's talk about the one thing you see right from the beginning of the game, the voice acting. I knew there were going to be some people that were going to say, why is there voice acting in this game? Did they not learn their mistake from Other M? But to tell you the truth, I really enjoy the voice acting in this game, and I'm happy that it's just for specific cutscenes. It's not the whole game. Because I definitely would not want to see someone talking and then I would hit the A button and it would cause the audio clip to short out and then go to the next one.
Yeah, that is very annoying.
Oh my god, could you imagine if the NPCs had voice acting?
Can you
Like
imagine
Beetle had a voice?
Can you imagine an NPC actually being asking you, do you want to hear that again?
I'm slowly but surely getting past Gabora. Please do not make me have a post-traumatic flashback.
That's what I'm here for.
I don't know. He's not a bad owl. He's not bad.
Yeah.
But the voice acting, I do like the fact that this game has voice acting. I really would. I'm one of the minority that really would like to see Link with a voice. I mean, he already has a voice. It'd be nice to see actually him say something, but we got a lot of voice lines out of Zelda in particular. And she's got a British accent.
British. Yeah, everyone seems British in this movie.
It's got a British accent. I'm not very sure how I feel about that. But
I could see Zelda sounding like that, honestly.
I can't actually. Like, to me, that voice doesn't quite sound like Zelda. And I don't think it's because of the British accent itself. I think it's just because it sounds so airy when she does it. Like, I don't know if that's the best way to describe it, but
I would say Mipha's voice sounds very similar, but it fits her more, doesn't it?
Yeah, Mipha does. She's much more of a softer character, so it makes sense for her to sound like that. But also looking at Zelda, especially with some of the memories you see of her, she's very doubtful of herself.
Oh yeah.
She has this destiny thrust upon her and she doesn't know why it's not happening yet. So I can kind of see why her voice actress sounds like that, but at the same time, I definitely see the other side of it as well.
I think this game has a lot of voice acting that's really good and matches, and some that's not so good and doesn't quite match. I think Zelda's probably in the middle in there somewhere.
And none of it's like terrible voice acting. Like I haven't heard any voices that I hate. No, like it's also good. You have one?
Which one?
I have one. I don't like the Goron sidekick that accompanies you up the mountain. I don't like him. I don't.
Please. Yeah, by the way, spoiler alert for this video. I probably should have said that right away, but spoiler warning.
It's like, is there a spoiler warning on Zelda? Like this game in particular?
Not really. But I know there's still a lot of people that, one of the most interesting things about this game that I love is that everyone is at a different stage or portion of the game and have done things in a different order. So it's unique to each person. And I really like that. But at the same time, it makes it hard to talk about some things because there are other people that are just like, don't talk about that. I haven't even met Impa yet.
Spoiler alert: Ganondorf is the final boss.
Oh my gosh, you ruined it for me.
Oh, my bad.
That's praise.
But yeah, I mean, the game can be taken in so many different directions, which is now kind of unique in this game in particular. But it was kind of like done. The whole story is that was done for the very first game. You could go in the dungeons in any other kind of order you want.
Mm-hmm.
You see, the first game, that wasn't a story. There wasn't. It was just the gameplay. The dungeons were literally just there to be played. That's all the game was about. It wasn't really a progression. And so you got to the end, and the only thing that allowed you to win per se was light arrows in the first game. And so in this game, it's so important in this day and age now to have a story-driven game, or have some element of story. Like we have games like Overwatch has absolutely no story mode whatsoever, but it still has a story that you don't play, but it has a story anyway. So this game allows you to go in whatever direction you want to. So it kind of makes it a hard environment to have a story in it, period.
Actually, I think like the story that they have works decently well because it's a whole bunch of separated stories that exist together with each other. Like the Zoras have their story, the Gorons have theirs, blah blah blah, and they all combine with the champions basically. And the champions
kind of feels a lot like Majora's Mask in that aspect.
Yeah, that's something I was gonna say too. It's like it's basically what it is just it is Majora's Mask. It has your 4 main dungeons and then the final thing. And it's just everything else is side quest. It is side quest fest, just way more than Majora.
Yeah, and they actually are compelling this time. I'm sorry, but I did not like Majora's Mask.
The side stories themselves? Well, I played Majora's Mask all the way through, 100% it twice, now with the 3DS remake.
It's the sort of thing that, for a side quester, it's their dream come true. But for me, I do not like 100%ing games unless I really, really, really like them.
I'd say some of the Majora's Mask side quests are actually meaningful, like Kafka. That's not the right name. That wasn't the right name at all.
Like Anju and Cafe?
Yeah, that was more like Final Fantasy VI. But there were some meaningful side stories, and then the rest I just don't really care about. But I got a mask.
Yeah.
But this one, I kind of like doing the side quest stuff. Well, it seemed like it was more I was actually helping people more than I was in Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
Just doing stuff. But even then, it still kind of felt a little shallow doing the side quests in this game too. Just because it didn't matter at all.
Some of them seemed really short.
The main story, you know.
Like, just bring this one person, this thing.
Or this one weapon, and then another weapon, and then another weapon, and another weapon.
Show a Korok an ice rod. You're done with the side quest.
Bring a hoof.
So what did you guys think about the story that you had so far? Like, we've all gone in different directions. I did the Zoro domain first, then the Goron, then the Gerudo, and then finally the Rito. Those are the 4 races, if you don't know, in this game.
I've done the Rito, then the Zora, and then the Gerudo. I have not gone towards the Goron one yet. So far, the game, it was definitely very challenging at first. I was not expecting this sort of like level of difficulty compared to the other Zeldas, which, again, people have complained the older Zeldas seem a bit too easy compared to this one. But at the same time, because you are thrust into this world, it's kind of a no holds barred. You better be ready for a punishment. If not, you're going to get a lot of game overs. So it kind of forced me to kind of just go for a lot of the shrines first. And it's kind of funny. I came across the Rito Divine Beast on accident. I was randomly climbing a cliffside, and all of a sudden the cutscene hits of the Rito Divine Beast, and I'm like, what is that?
How do you miss that? That was like the first thing I saw. I got on top of the Temple of Time and looked at. I'm like, what's that? Literally floating in the air.
Well, I mean, I knew about it, but I didn't realize that was the area that I was going to see the cutscene for it. I'm just like, it looks even weirder up close, but kind of awesome at the same time.
Really, I found
Although
that Divine Beast.
I will say, the Garuda one is legitimately terrifying when you see it for the first time. I swear to you, the noise that it makes sounds like something straight out of War of the Worlds. I kid you not.
With that, albeit it is kind of like shrouded in the sandstorm though, so you actually gotta be around it to actually see it or be above it. But the Rito bird is always there, so
Yeah.
I've always looked at that in the distance and found it to be one of the most menacing things that you could actually look at anywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's funny because I always saw it and I just looked at it and I'm like, oh, it's there. Okay,
Yep.
it's all the way over there.
It's something.
Like I'm just a user in this world.
I know.
Yeah.
Like Kevin did. I did the Zora. I did the Goron. I did Gerudo, and I'm working currently on the Rito one. Still need to do that one, but I don't even know why I started with the Zora first. That was just the area because you go to Kakariko and then you kind of are in that area. I started exploring to the north, and then suddenly I found a Zora who's like, "Hey, can you come help us? Like,
Yeah.
we really need some help now."
Oh, do you remember his name?
Sidon, Prince Sidon.
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 Oh, grins like Sidon. There's a song for him that's based on Gaston.
Oh, it was legit canon. It's canon. I heard it.
Didn't they do well, I've actually seen Gaston parodies all over. There's one for Deadpool. Tumblr did one for Hurricane Gaston.
That Deadpool reference was taped from the people that made the movie. It had Ryan Reynolds in it.
Yep.
I saw that too.
Anyway.
But yeah. The side characters are probably some of the most character developed people between the champions, the side characters, and then you have your main characters. But those are probably the ones that are the most character developed.
And I like how each one of them tends to be like either a descendant or a very close friend of the champion. Of course, Mifa herself was part of that same generation, because I'm assuming Zoras have much longer lifespans than Hylians. So they would definitely see Mifa 100 years ago, but at the same time, you see the plight of the people and how, especially with King Dorfin, he's like, I don't even know if she's alive right now. And when you find out later after beating the Divine Beast that no, she is no longer with us, it's definitely a really I don't know how to explain it. Just like a sad moment, almost.
It's heartbreaking because like the people, the Zoras, they were alive when Mifa was alive, and they're still alive. Like they recognize Link. They literally knew Link 100 years ago. And there are some who hold resentment, and there are some who are like, "No, it's not your fault. We understand."
Yeah, I mean, they all had to deal with that grief of being not being able to be there anymore for their people because they were the champion over their race, their people. They were the leader, and now they can't lead them anymore. And each one had a very emotional moment for different reasons. Maybe except for Rivali, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, Rivali
was sassy.
He was just kind of a dick. Dang it! All what it is.
He showed me up again.
Oh my god, his face.
But I actually really like the Gerudo Gerudo descendant. I feel like her plight was very interesting because it was almost like, so your mom died, and now you have to take the throne at such a young age. Good luck.
It's Tetra.
But I think that kind of plight, that plight is kind of not reflective, but closer to heart to a lot of people that are probably playing the game. Like obviously, people that play video games are more our age or even younger, especially this being a Nintendo game, being more around the family-friendly side of it. So we have a younger age group who maybe like us or a little younger than us are trying to come into the adult world, which is a very similar situation than what she has. So it's very relatable. That's the word I was looking for.
Good job.
Good job.
But
So-
am I wrong to want, like, we have the side characters, we have the champions, and we have the main cast that are the most character developed, like I said before. Am I wrong to want more than that? It just didn't feel like enough meaningful characters to me.
With such an expansive world, I think adding more than was necessary probably would have made it a bit like,
It'd be a
I don't
little too
know.
much.
Yeah, I think it would be a little bit too much. I think the main focus for this game was the vastness of the world and the fact that, I mean, the subtitle of it being Breath of the Wild, you're out in the wild for most of the game. And it's just climbing cliff sides and rolling hills and the vastness of Hyrule basically at your fingertips.
And the
So-
fact that like all the characters are still different. Like I haven't come across too many like copycat NPCs. I've come across similar ones, but all their personalities and like their character traits are still vastly different, and that alone impresses me.
I don't know. All the stable people kind of look the same.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Are you sure you want your horse? No. Okay. Talk to my brother.
yeah. And beetles everywhere.
Oh yeah.
It's not
I
the
like
same
Beetle. I like
But
Beetle.
I like how in each game he's like a merchant, but at the same this one he feels as close to a merchant as he's ever been. You know what I
And
mean?
he's-
Just like a traveling merchant.
And he's way more bug obsessive, if that can be believed.
Oh my gosh. I love though when you talk to him that when you talk to him about like, hey, this is what I can sell or buy. Most of the time with any other person, it's just like, I'm here to sell, I'm here to buy.
Mhm.
But with him, it's what have you got or look what I got.
He had a customer appreciation day. The one time I randomly talked to him, he's like, "Here, you get a free ancient arrow," and I'm like, "What the heck is an ancient arrow? This looks neat.
Yeah.
Keep that.
Let me go see exactly how much damage this thing does. What I'm gonna use it on. Let me go find a guardian real fast and see how much a critical hit does.
Yeah.
Oh!
Did
Does this
you
always
not,
happen?
did you not know about the ancient arrows before you started the game?
Nope. I knew of them. I didn't know what they did until I used one.
Yeah.
I mean,
The first trailer of when they were first shown off,
very first
the game
trailer.
was first shown off. It was
That
an ancient
arrow.
arrow that he hit against that guardian.
Yeah, I saw it before, but no one had ever said anything about what it did or how much it did. The description said very effective against guardians, so I'm like, let's try it on a guardian.
Okay.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's super effective.
And they are so expensive. Oh my gosh.
You get to a point in the game where really you've almost run out of things to do, where money just starts not becoming an issue.
Yeah. I know.
I just grind taluses like every blood moon. I just go find taluses and kill them again.
I just hunt. And then cook 5 pieces of meat together and sell it for like 500 rupees.
What I
That's
do
true.
normally is I go to Pondo's Lodge and I do the bowling mini game because there's a certain point where you stand that it will almost guarantee you a strike, and you can get 300 rupees each time.
I've gotten 9 pins. I need to find that point.
Mr. Exploit over here. But no, I mean, how do you feel about rupees in this game? Because I've experienced in other games where you just get too many all the time.
I'm happy that there's not like a limit to your wallet
Yes.
from the beginning.
Yes.
Because that was definitely one thing that was a major point of concern for a lot of the other Zelda games. And I mean, I get it for completionist sake, but at the same time, it's like, I just want to be able to get that map to readable, Tingle. I don't want to see your ugly mug more than I have to. Please just let me decipher this. So I think it was mostly a problem in Wind Waker for me, but I'm glad that there definitely is not any like cap to the rupees.
And I don't think this game has the problem of too much money, because there's so much stuff you can still spend your money on, like so much stuff that it's like I still worry about not having enough. Like if I have below 1,000, I feel like I'm broke.
Yeah, you are.
Oh yeah. And then when you just go and what I also like to do is like mine the different types of ore and stuff like that. So like getting sapphires and rubies and luminescent stones and stuff like that. And just selling those for a pretty penny. But let's talk about the house you can get in Hateno Village. I was so happy when I found that. Yeah. All I've done, I've gotten it completely like built up, because basically when I went over there, I had like 5,000 rupees. So I'm like, here, make the entire house good. And I love the like during the loading for when they're doing something for your house, then it sounds like that is so cool. And I love the little things that like the boss says before they do their thing.
Oh my god.
Just like it kind of reminded me of Teen Titans, where it's like, I got the Sonic if you got the boom. But one of the other things is what I did for my house, at least, was I only put 2 weapon pedestals, 1 shield pedestal, and 1 bow pedestal, and I put all the champion stuff that I got for the divine beasts and put them on there on the wall.
That's what I'm doing, except I have all of it.
Yeah, I took a separate approach. I did make the house all at once, and I guess I don't have that quite of an emotional attach to it, because I made it all at once, filled out everything, and then just kind of really not worried about it again. And I just filled it up because I used the guardian weapons. I got the spoils that I got from each dungeon, but I filled the house in with elemental weapons, lightning, frost, and flaming great swords, and then a couple of different shields. And then I have an ancient bow. I kind of want to put the ancient bow on the wall too, along with the bows, but I used it too many times.
Oh, so bad.
I don't know. To me, it's like I want to save the weapons you get from the beasts. I want to save those until like later in the game, I guess. Like I want to go through as many of the normal weapons as I can before I start using those, because they can be repaired. So
yeah, but it's quite costly to repair.
I haven't gotten to that point yet, so that's another reason I don't want to use them yet.
But yeah, all of them are actually really good. I say that Goron's is really good, and no, just Goron is really good. The other one's kind of mid range, like especially the Zora one's not all that great.
Yeah. It's pretty.
It's pretty, but pretty versus effectiveness.
Sparkly.
I did that a little too well.
Yeah.
But let's move on to another topic. What are we talking
about? Let's talk about cooking.
Cooking.
One aspect that I really didn't put a whole heart and soul into. It just happened to be a source of hearts, really.
Yeah, mine was mainly like looking at the materials screen and seeing what effects each of them did, and then being able to cook them with different combinations, like with the meat and rock salt, having a meat, pepper, and rock salt, making a really nice dish there.
There's pepper.
Right at the beginning of the game, to get the Warren doublet, where you do the Hyrule bass or any fish for that matter, the raw meat and the spicy pepper, having the spicy meat and seafood fry. Just seeing the different things that they were able to do with that.
Whenever it came to certain aspects, like whenever I needed some status effect, right, stealth or temperature, AC, self AC, I always use actual equipment rather than actual food. So, I mean, food is more accessible, but it doesn't tell you right out of the gate, hey, you need to make this to make this certain effect. Whereas the equipment is like, this is what it's going to do. So I always put more confidence in that, and whatever I made out of food was whatever I got. So I didn't really feel that connected to it.
But again, the food is good when you don't have enough rupees to get any of those clothes. Like if you have the rupees for it, absolutely go for the clothes. That's the best way you can do this. But if you don't, you can also use the effects in a dish. I also like the fact that you can use elixirs as well instead of just food.
And to me, also, it's like if I want to be wearing a very specific piece of clothing, like I'm obsessed with the climbing gear I have so far. And sometimes I
climbing fast is just so perfect.
I just want to, so like if I want to keep wearing it, I will go for a potion or go for elixir or go for a food item.
Makes sense.
So I can climb faster.
When it just came to food, when I made a successful recipe, I just found myself remaking the same recipe over and over because it's exactly what I wanted.
Then finding out some like 5 raw primates getting like 15 hearts to gain back total. I'm like, wow, I am definitely saving that for later.
I wish. Yeah. Sorry, I wish there was a recipe book. Well, not a recipe book, but like a recipe list.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the item, you can choose recipe to see how you made it specifically. And I guess I understand why they can't really have a recipe list or whatever, because the same dish can be made so many ways with many variations on it, but still it's kind of like, can I just have something that keeps track of what I have made? Like,
right, exactly that.
I mean, you can go to the dishes that you've made and be like, what's the recipe for this? And it shows you like the items you put in, but that's not the same. Limited.
It's not the same. And once you eat it or don't have it anymore, that recipe's gone.
Yep. Yeah. I wish there was like a log saying, you made this dish before with these items and this was the result. It doesn't matter if you make another thing with the same items or with different items to get the same result. This is still what you made in the past.
Mm-hmm. Like one thing I will say is I've heard that if you do like you know how you have the mighty fruits or whatever, if you some of the effects of those mighty fruits, if you like combine them in just the right way, they'll actually make your statuses go for a lot longer. I think for one of them, it goes for like 15 minutes straight.
I've gotten things to go for 20 minutes.
Let me. I don't think it's relative to the items that you use, because like I said before, I used to make, when I found something that worked, I just make the same recipe over and over, right? Well, I found by making the same recipe over and over, there is a variation. Sometimes it just lasts longer. And then you use the same items exactly the same way again, and it's a different time. I think there's a luck stat in there that's thrown in.
It's a critical thing. Like I remember reading about it or something. If you cook and sometimes you'll get a critical effect where your recipe will just be better. But if you cook between 11:30 and midnight during a blood moon, you will get all critical hits.
Absolutely.
And you should, I guess I can't confirm this for myself, but you should be able to force the same critical chance during cooking while cooking with a fairy. you just won't be able to have 5 items together. One of them has to be a fairy. Yeah.
Speaking of the blood moons, though, I think it's a good idea that they keep the enemies up, because really, if you defeated all the enemies, what challenge is there being able to revive them? It sucks that the guardians are revived as well, but it's kind of funny. Just the other day, I was doing one of the Korok trials, and right in the middle of following one of the Koroks towards one of the trials, a blood moon happened right in the middle of the forest. And I just saw these little red dots along with all the whiteness. And I'm just like, really? You're doing a blood moon right now?
Yep.
Yup.
That's a great excuse. It's a great excuse to respawn enemies. It's great. It's a game mechanic that has to happen, and they very dramatically gave it a great reason, and I love it for it. I was in a labyrinth at one time, and I swear I had 2 blood moons within 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, oh, that's neat. I just killed this Lizalfo 2 seconds ago.
And it's already back.
Let's go again.
Yeah. I had a blood moon happen at 1 o'clock, but at 1 o'clock in the morning or something. But I'm wondering if it was because I talked to the Bone and Fang guy, because it happened immediately after I was done talking to him. So I don't know.
That could be something. Now, on that same note, let's talk about weapon durability.
Love it, hate it.
Yeah. At first, it was definitely something I'm just like, really? I'm going through all this weaponry. But again, something that Arlo said that I found was interesting was you find now different ways to fight enemies instead of just going and slashing your sword the whole time. But at the same time, now it's more of the fact of I have all these powerful weapons and I don't have enough space to hold them all.
Right.
You know,
well,
even with getting all the Korok seeds to get your inventory space, like more space, it's still like difficult.
Yeah, it never changes for me. But it's what is the point of Breath of the Wild? What is Breath of the Wild to you symbolize the most? Freedom, right?
Yeah.
Do whatever you want, however you want, right? So the durability mechanic of these weapons, it makes you use all the different weapons. It's a game mechanic to make you use all the options that you have available to you, but it also forces you to use all the options available to you. It's that kind of forcement that kind of goes against the whole game's theme of being free about how you do things. In that sense, I think it draws it back on what it was trying to do. It was just they were trying to do something, and it worked, and it kind of didn't.
Yeah,
they basically just took away your freedom to use the same weapon forever.
Yep. Honestly, I think what they could have done would be, instead of the weapons breaking, you could have it be like, this weapon is best against this enemy. Like, a Bokoblin is only good against maybe like a Boko Club or something like that. A Lizalfos is only weak to a Lizal Boomerang. Something like that, to be able to have you still use all the weapons, but not having them break all the time.
I mean, they kind of do that in a way, because like fire and ice are weak to the opposite, where if you
I see that as well.
Immediate hit kills them, or like the stone taluses, they are, I think they're weaker to the hammer. It seems, I could be wrong.
It seems right. That's what I thought.
Like there's sometimes where it feels like an enemy should be weaker to this, but it isn't, and then other times where it is. So.
This isn't Pokemon, guys.
You say that, but I'm getting that vibe.
It's kind of funny, though. It's kind of funny though, because do you guys remember the shrine quest in order to get into the Gerudo shrine that's like way out into the desert, and you have to carry that ice block back?
Yes.
At that point, there was a fireless outpost that was coming towards me. So I set the ice block down, got on an ice arrow, and hit it, destroyed him immediately. I'm just like, that was so satisfying.
Yes.
Yeah, I think for that one I just sidetracked it. I had the sand boots, didn't I? I think I had the sand boots, and I had that increased movement speed potion, and I just ran around the side.
Ah,
See, I was going to do that, but then I realized the sunlight was going to melt it, so I was
Yeah.
trying to stay in the shade, and then suddenly it became night, so I'm like, oh, okay, fuck it, I can go around.
I had an ice blade on my back too, so that was good.
nice.
I was going to pull one out, but that I realized I didn't have one. I only had fire blades.
Oh
so.
boy.
For whatever reason, I tried to keep one of every elemental.
I broke both mine.
Although there are some weapons in certain areas that you can still get, like after a blood moon or something. Because that's the interesting thing, is that not only do the enemies respawn, but some of the weapons do as well.
Yep.
At least at least the elemental weapons, as far as I know.
Oh no, like I think all the weapons that are specifically placed in the overworld do respawn as well, because I know there was a Zora blade behind the one in Zora's domain. Like it's always there, and I took it at one point and it returned again after a blood moon. So any weapon that is specifically placed in a spot will respawn.
Yeah. I have 2 flame blades right now, 42 and 35.
Are you looking at your game right now?
What? No. Yes.
I mean, I can go get mine now. Real
I mean,
quick.
it's on a Switch. It's portables.
Yeah.
But I think one of the most fascinating and amazing things about Breath of the Wild that has really caused so many people to talk about it and think about it as a new benchmark for open world game design is the gameplay and physics and mechanics of the game itself.
Yeah.
One cool aspect that it's never been done in a Zelda game before is really this paraglider. The essence of what this paraglider is to this game.
Oh, definitely.
So much fun.
I can tell you that it's probably the most useful item that I've ever seen in a Zelda game.
I mean, we've had paragliders in the Zelda game before.
Yes, like the Hero's Cape in Minish Cap, or
the
sailcloth in Skyward Sword.
Or the leaf in Wind Waker.
It's the leaf definitely. The Skyward Sword's more of a parachute than a paraglider.
Yeah. I definitely like the Deku leaf. But again, that magic, bro, it
doesn't come back.
Yep. Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. Yeah.
Copyright.
So, yeah. That
we got copyright strikes now.
That paraglider makes so many things possible. Just crossing an entire gap, because this map is huge. And I
skipped so many Guardians.
Yeah, I don't think the map size is what we need to be talking about here. It's just how the map works.
Yeah, I mean, it is big, but at the same time, it's more of how it works, and especially like with the central tower, right in the middle of Hyrule Field, and you have all those Guardians there. Which, by the way, you can get up that tower as soon as you leave the Great Plateau.
I did that. I did that. It was hard, but I did it.
Yeah, basically, you have just enough stamina to do 3 leaps to get to the next area, and you're locked from the Guardians.
Yeah,
just
I felt
wait for
like
your stamina refill.
A little bit of Metal Gear Solid going on.
Yeah.
Beep, 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 beep. Oh crap!
Did you guys see that video of the guy that's on like a cliffside, and a Guardian spots him? It hits his laser, and he does a perfect guard from like 300 yards away, and it goes straight back to him.
Yeah, all the way back.
Liz, I will definitely share it onto the group chat because it is amazing.
Send it later. Send it later.
Yeah,
oh my gosh, so good.
That timing. I mean, you got to have the timing when you're just doing a perfect parry against a Guardian as it is, and you're not really trying to reflect the beam. You're trying to hit on a certain timing window given a certain cue from the Guardian. When you're that far away, it's a timing and depth perception on a 2D screen.
Yep. Oh boy.
Can we just talk about the perfect dodge and perfect reflect real quick?
Let's talk about the combat system.
Yeah.
I I hate the timing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't figure out the timing. It's just I get lucky
Yeah.
because at one point I swear I reflect too soon, but it gives it to me, and then I try and do the same thing again, and then it's like, nope, I hit you.
Yeah.
Mad at you.
Well, that's because that timing
I
is
don't
really
have
tight.
I don't have as much trouble with the perfect dodge with
Oh no, that's
with
Puppy.
Yes.
Sorry.
Enjoy my dog doing the craziness in the background. But anyway, the one thing I will say is like practicing with like I can do the perfect dodges okay with the guardian laser beams, but at the same time it's very difficult for me to get the timing for the flurry attack. And I don't know what it is. I'm trying the timing as best I can, and I only get it 1 out of maybe 10 or 15 times I do it against a Guardian during a test of strength. I just can't seem to get the timing down for that.
For the perfect dodge or for the flurry after the perfect dodge?
For the flurry after the
Really?
perfect dodge.
A friend of mine had a problem with actually hitting the flurries too. I've never had a problem.
They say you just hit
yeah.
Y, right?
Yeah, repeatedly. That's what I do.
No, I mean no, I'm talking about being able to get it to slow down so you can do the flurry
Okay,
attack.
you're actually talking about the dodge. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's understandable. Depending on the speed of the enemy. Getting the perfect parry is always just a random chance, almost, kinda,
Yeah.
because the perfect parry happens so quickly. That window of effectiveness is very small.
Yeah. And I know Game Explain tried to say just listen for that ant right before it hits his laser out. Sorry, that doesn't help most of the time.
Well, again, that's
That
all
actually
about
helped.
distance.
Yep, exactly.
Like the video that you were talking about before, you're that far away. No, you're going to be sitting there for a couple seconds.
Yep.
Um,
But
the
oh my
combat
gosh,
system,
seeing that dodge though, it's so beautiful.
it's very satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one
Die,
really
die, die, die.
cool aspect about the combat system is the parry. Have we had a parry before in a Zelda game? I know we have a shield bash and crap, but
Yes.
Wind Waker.
Yes.
Wind
Wind
actually
Waker
had a.
and Twilight Princess.
Yeah, I think so.
I played okay.
Yeah.
I played
Where
Twilight Princess.
A would flash. Where A would flash,
Yeah.
and you would either do a side roll or a helm splitter.
Yeah, those are not
Yep.
parries. That's a shield bash.
No.
Well, no. In Wind Waker, it was if you hit the button at the right time, he would either do a backslice or a helm splitter.
You would
In
dodge
Twilight
the
Princess,
you would dodge the attack and do it.
in
Okay.
Twilight Princess, that's where the actual skill to pull off the backslice or the helm splitter came in.
Okay. But
Which I
yeah,
think that
yeah,
definitely was more involved.
right. And that's what I'm trying to say. The combat system in Twilight Princess and Wind Waker had that very in it effect. Like you are the swordsman almost dancing around your target almost. And in Skyward Sword, totally stripped that away.
Oh
And
yeah.
I hated that. I couldn't move. I felt like I was stuck stationary on a one-on-one perspective, and there was nothing else I could do about it in Skyward Sword. And this game, it's a kind of a mix to both. I do have that freedom. I can move around and approach the situation however I want, and you do have that parry, that perfect dodge. But you didn't have those really like cinematic effects like the helm splitter or maybe a roll around backslice or the extra strong skills that you unlock at the very end. But from the beginning, you did have a very well developed combat system.
And you also have like if you press and hold Y with different weapons, it does different things. Like you have the spin attack, obviously for the standard hand weapons. You have the spear jab repeatedly, and then I don't know what the club weapon base is actually.
You just keep spinning.
Okay.
It's one of the best attacks in the game, I'd say.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, that's how I take down Taluses. Especially the Talus have the weak point at the very top. You just get on top of them as soon as they wake up, start spinning, and you take them down within 10 seconds.
I'll try that.
Yep.
So
those were my thoughts on the combat system.
What else did we have? Oh my gosh! Please do not.
Music?
Yes, let's go for music.
Why not?
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Like
Well, obviously, you're the most excited. What you got?
Okay, like first of all, in the main overworld, how the ambiance is so subtle. I like that. I like how it's not just a strong theme. Like the themes in the overworlds in the past have been fantastic. Obviously, I love Wind Waker's theme for the ocean, and I love the island themes. But like the fact that it's just an ambiance kind of thing when you're out in the open for the most part. Like obviously when you get to a town or you get to a stable, there's beautiful music that comes in there too, but it's not overwhelming if it's like in the overworld, and I love that. And then you have callbacks to certain things, like you have Epona Song at the stables, you have Zora's Domain, you get the freaking dragon roost. Oh my god, when I got to Rito Village and I heard that, I'm like, oh, I had to contain myself on the bus, otherwise I was gonna freak people out.
Understandable. Was there ever a point where you were in the overworld? Like you said, you had just the ambiance, right? Especially true for at night, where you just have like maybe crickets, or you have the wind going through your ears, which again, admittedly, was great, and I really did appreciate that. Was there at any point in time during that ambiance that you really wished that actually had a theme I could go along with this?
Actually, no.
No?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Like, I don't know. I'm so preoccupied with exploring that I don't miss it, and I'm trying so hard to like look out for certain things, or I'm running away from an enemy because I hear the enemy music play, being like, crap, another style, whatever.
Good example.
And
good example.
like it
One
doesn't.
thing I will say. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I think it also doesn't bother me because I actually don't spend too much time just in the overworld. Like I'll usually get to a stable or another town or something to where they're like, or the shrines. Like the shrines have their own kind of like ominousness to them. So it's I don't leave myself in the overworld for long enough for it to bother me.
Really? Okay. I don't think that's akin to what I did. I guess, I mean, we all play it different ways, but I always kept finding myself seeing something in the distance. I'm like, what the heck is that? So I spent a lot of my time in the overworld getting to a certain location. And there are many points in times where I'm just sitting there figuring out where do I want to go next. I'm just looking around. There's crickets in the distance or the wind. And I'm like, this is a whole lot of nothing.
Although I don't know why. I like the music that actually plays like at the beginning. When like not so much like at the beginning of the game. I'm talking about like when you're just roaming around and you just have that ding ding. I like that a lot. Also, the tower music is amazing as well.
Oh, I love it so much.
I don't know why. But there's a specific part in the tower music that doesn't it almost sound like it was like that Tower of Power game at Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know that like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm just like
it's been a long time since I've been Chuck E. Cheese, man.
Yeah, but Kevin, you totally get what I'm talking about here.
That was sarcasm.
It sounds kind of like that.
Oh my god, I'm sad I found all the towers, actually. Like, I have gotten all the towers at this point. It told me map complete, and
What was the last tower you did when it said map complete? Do you remember?
Hebra.
Brito.
Mine was Gerudo Tower, actually.
Yeah, I went out of my way to get it.
I did an in. I don't know. I went bottom right, bottom left, top left. That was weird.
I have no idea what order I went in. It was kind of like.
Okay, let's see which ones are okay, and then going to that one the one where you have a bunch of the electric Wizrobes. Oh my gosh, that one was hard.
I went high and just glided.
Yeah, that's what we always want to stay high up into the altitudes when we're playing this game. It took me so long to really get to the Gerudo area because you know that there's a specific route in the canyon that you're supposed to get to the Gerudo area. Yeah, I didn't.
And there's a certain point where if you're at the higher altitude and you start going down a little bit, your map completely blanks out on you. It doesn't know what's going on. And at that point, it's just like, okay, I'm going to warp out to an area where I know. And then you try and you hit the button, and oh crap, I can't warp out.
Talk
This is
about
a
the
little
sandstorm.
scary.
Oh, and the Gerudo. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy, that was fun.
I think one of the longest area for me to explore was probably the Hebra Mountains.
I haven't started that yet.
There was I think that was a huge part. That's almost arguable to the Gerudo Desert, but there's such a huge part of the mountain region, and there's so much altitude there opposed to the desert. There's so much hidden stuff in the icy mountains.
There's so many treasure chests. Like, what the heck?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then there's also the stupid silver Lionel.
Oh my gosh. So let's.
Real quick, I wanted to ask: have you guys found all the fairies yet?
No.
What? Of course.
Okay, John, have you found the horse fairy?
Working on it.
I just wanted to talk about something I loved with the music of that particular fairy.
Go ahead.
Like, it shouldn't be too spoiling.
I've already seen the horse fairy. My brother. I've seen my brother-in-law get it. So.
Okay, so
go ahead.
With the music for that one, it combines Epona's song and the fairy music. I didn't notice it at first because all I noticed was Epona's song, and I'm like, of course they would use that. Of course, why wouldn't they? But then I noticed it overlapping the fairy, and I'm like, oh my god, they did that, and it works. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I got tired of seeing this green light on top of the mountain for too long. So I went up there, and I think it was daylight the first time I went up there. I'm like, there's nothing up here. I went back up there one other time, and I'm like, why?
One thing I've noticed though is let's talk a bit about like the horses and things like that. That it takes stamina to tame them first. But what I find interesting is that it's not only horses that you can mount. It's deer and bears. There's actually one. Let me see if I can find it because
you can mount a Lionel. Like, not for long, but you can. Yeah, you can, and then you can stab them in the back.
There's also like an ancient key or something that you can actually control a guardian for a while.
Was that a thing, or was that a lie that I read on the internet?
I think it was a thing.
I know you can control the Lord of the Mountain for a while.
Was that not what you were talking about when you said horse fairy?
That's not what I was talking about.
Okay, where is it?
Like Great Fairy, like the Great Fairy horse.
Okay.
I'm trying to see if I can find it.
I know what you're talking about. Like, I have Zelda's horse, I have the great horse, and I have Epona.
There's the Lord of the Mountain as well. Do you care if I spoil where that one is?
That's what I was talking about. The green light on top of the.
Okay, yeah. No, that's not the horse fairy. Someone will know what I'm talking about.
Wait, is that the lake? The lake of the horse fairy. I went to that lake like 3 different times and nothing happened. That was on the southern part of the map.
I'll help you later.
I know what you're talking about. I know what it is. I know where it's at. But anyway,
I know where I could find it. Let me just keep going.
Yeah, the horses, though, I don't feel like it's utilized enough. Like, the horses were implemented really well. But the level structure about how altitude matters so much, and the horses can only go, so far up a slope. I just don't see how effective it is.
I never use a horse.
Me neither.
No, me neither. Because everything is a fast travel point.
Either that, or it's just you want to explore everything. Like, oh my god, there's a Korok thing here. Oh my god, here's something I want to collect. Oh my god, there's this. There's no point in keeping the horse around because I don't want to leave the horse somewhere and I'll forget him. Like, oh, horsey. Like, I would feel legitimate bad. Like, I do this with Epona too. Like, I always called her back to Kakariko Village in Twilight Princess. I couldn't bear leaving her out in the wild. Like, I don't know why. That's how I play.
I found the thing. It's literally, I accidentally set a bear on fire and accidentally mounted it. And now I'm trying to stay calm as I set the forest on fire with the bear. Help.
Yeah, I remember that.
I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah, you didn't say bear before, but yeah, you can definitely mount a bear.
Yep.
Yeah, he said bear.
And actually, you have to mount a buck for one of the shrine quests
I just
as
did that one
well.
recently.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's a
I've done that
point.
one.
It's
How much do you want to spoil this shrine quest?
I did say that I'll find it eventually. Like I've got
Yeah.
a bunch of shrine
It's near the
quests.
Rito area, over by the Tabantha Bridge, like
Okay.
across the way.
Okay, I'll get to that eventually.
Just to let you know that the game does consider like deer antlers to be a form of bone.
Really?
What do you
You
mean?
did the shrine quest, dude.
Well, yeah, I know that, but like, all I did was bring it over to the pedestal.
You did it by
That's
accident. Okay, you're fine. Remember what I said. Just say.
They're
Okay.
a form of bone. Okay, I will somehow forget that, but I'll try and keep it in mind.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll explain it to John later. He needs to.
Actually, I think I know what you're talking about, but
Let's
I
move
could
on.
be wrong. Anyway, let's talk about the shrines.
There's 120 of them.
Screw the frickin' apparatuses.
You don't like the motion puzzles?
Not when I'm on the stupid Switch and trying to move around and then moving around it.
Watch my video on how to easily get past the Mayam Agana apparatus.
Is that
literally,
the one where
you literally, okay, so you know what? It's the one where you have to navigate the ball through the maze, one of the first ones you've come across.
you flip it upside down, right?
If you take your Switch or Wii U gamepad and literally have it go off the side of the maze, turn the Switch or the gamepad sideways, and it will automatically fall into the last corridor. Then you can move it back and kind of tilt it in to get it to the ending part. Easy as that. Although I've seen people go and try and use Octorock balloons and remote bombs to try and get across without even using the apparatus.
Brilliant.
It's like people have too much time on their hands. Oh my gosh.
But they're really, really
duh.
stupid.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
I like the shrines for the most part.
For the most part, yes. But there are some shrines that are both infuriating, but I have to applaud the programmers and the people who made the game who did these. Because like one of them is the True Shrines by the Dueling Peaks.
Oh god.
Where
yes.
the start of one is the ending to the other and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had to look that one up because I'm like, what the heck?
I actually figured that out immediately.
Really?
Took me
Yeah.
a second. I was
Like-
actually in one shrine. I'm like, how am I supposed to figure this out of this? And I read the script again. I'm like, should I?
Yeah.
I knew.
What?
I just immediately copied it.
One of the other things that the one that I never even got, and I really had to look it up, was the one behind the Great Deku Tree, Fateful Stars.
Oh god, I took so long on that one.
Oh, I actually figured that one out on my own. I got that one
Really?
on my own. Yeah, I'm so happy. So many of these shrines I've done by myself, and I've been so proud of myself. I haven't had to look them up. I'm pretty sure there's some I've looked up, but that wasn't one of them.
That
Oh
one
my
took
gosh,
me-
that was difficult.
That probably took me the longest to figure out. I was sitting there for 10 minutes, like, what the heck am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
It's talking about stars. Let me go outside of the shrine and look up at the stars in the forest. It's not working.
Yeah. That's what I thought too.
Nope.
But yeah. I went back into the shrine. I looked on the wall. And I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Did you guys get the secondary puzzle in there?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yes, I
good.
did.
And I actually solved it without realizing that there were also torches that said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That
Like there
was
was
really?
torches for that. Yeah, I didn't notice that. I just assumed it's like, okay, if it doesn't work this way, then I'll switch them around and then it's that way. It's like, okay, yeah, that works.
Yeah.
trial and error crap.
Yep.
Well, I only had to switch it
Um,
once, so I did good.
Nice.
Combat trials are also a thing, and they're also very interesting. But again, once you've seen one, you've seen them all. They just get more powerful.
But they do respawn, so free weapons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I find it funny. I've gotten like 5 combat trials in a row, and that's the only reason why I get annoyed with them.
Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh, another test of strength. What the heck?
I already used my weapons.
Use bomb arrows on the second phase.
Oh,
That
yeah.
helps you
Oh,
out immensely.
Dude, I abuse bomb arrows to no end.
Oh yeah. Here's what's funny. When I went for the Reader Divine Beast, my brother-in-law was helping me like get to the point where you're able to go up and face the Divine Beast. And so he was like, go and buy bomb arrows. So I went to Hitano Village, bought bomb arrows, and then I come back and I forget his name. But he's like, here, have 20 more bomb arrows. I had like 50 at that point.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I will be set.
Did you want to say something, Kevin?
No.
Okay.
Well, I say I the first combat trial I went into was a major combat trial, and it was a little more than I could handle at the time. But I was very stubborn, so I had like chugged a very potent strength elixir, and just went ham with what I had, everything I had. Perfect parries, charge up attacks, anything that I could possibly get my hands on to maximize my damage. And I eventually got it. And
How many hearts did you have at the time?
how many hearts? 5 or 6.
Oh my gosh.
So I took it down. I'm like, well, this over doubles the strength of my last weapon.
Yes.
That's good.
Now, what I find interesting, though, is that with some of the shrine quests and how those mazes work as well, that most of them are blessing ones.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of nice, where it's like you're already proving your worth. Awesome.
Thank
I
you.
get free stuff now.
I don't have to do anything else. I already did crap. I followed a Korok through the forest. That's enough, right?
Yep.
Twice.
Oh, boy.
Anybody got a side quest for Leviathan bones?
Yes. I found one of them.
Yeah, I found 2, and it took me for freaking ever to find the bones in the Heber region. I'm not telling anybody where it's at. They find it on their own. I scoured the entire freaking mountains for it. Probably 6 hours just looking for it, just exploring the Heber Mountains.
Let me ask you this question: was it in a stupid place?
Invisible space.
Invisible space?
Yeah, you're not gonna find it by just looking in the map. That's for sure.
Oh, boy.
It's not gonna be like the Gerudo one.
Or the Goron one. You can find that on the map too. You can't look at the Heber Mountains and find this one.
I can't find the Goron one.
Very top.
Very top?
Yep, very top.
I'll look at it later.
Yep.
All right. I believe there's only really one last thing we need to talk about, which is physics.
Well, that's kind of what I brought up earlier, was how this game kind of sets a new standard for the open world design itself.
Oh yeah.
How it can account for all these different situations. And, you know, whatever you think about, like thorns, a thorn bush, you use a fire arrow and it burns the thorn bush. That's something that you just like, you know what, maybe this might work. And then it does.
If you burn the thorn bush, just be like, Link has found God.
I've made fire.
One thing I will say, though, is the physics themselves are very interesting, especially when it comes to like rolling a rock down a hill. Just the simple fact of doing that is being able to trial and error find the trajectory of it instead of just, oh, I will use this arc, like let's say Skyward Sword. I will use this arc that is clearly displayed in front of me, and it will work the same every single time. This one, there are slight differences, and I like that.
I actually pushed a rock one time, and I accidentally discovered a Korok by playing bowling with some trees. Well, not bowling, playing soccer. I didn't even realize.
Nice.
I saw 3 rocks in a triangle, and I'm like, oh, they must be for something. So I started pushing it, and then it just started going. I'm like, well, I'll just follow it. Suddenly I hear the, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. I also like shield surfing a lot as well. That's fun. You can be Legolas now. Yeah. Now I have one question for you guys, and I'm just going to say up front, I have not done this yet.
Right.
But have either of you guys even attempted that island trial where you are stripped of all your weapons and you have to survive your way through and defeat a Hinox at the end?
See, I'm gonna wait on that one. I've
Yeah.
been waiting on that one. I've seen Eventide Island.
Yeah.
I haven't attempted to go there yet.
It is a very long way to get there because you have to have pretty much, I think, almost all 3 wheels of stamina to even attempt to get over there.
Got them.
Well, there you go.
Or a lot of stamina replenishing food. That's how I got there.
Yep.
But so you have done it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I only had like 6 or 7 hearts, 5 or 6 hearts, so it's kind of make sure you don't take any damage.
You are not human, dude. Oh my gosh.
So wait. Did you know where you were going before you went there?
No, I just saw this small island in the distance. Like, I really want to get there.
I'm still going to wait on Eventide Island. I'm going to definitely take my time on that.
You say,
Like I said,
like,
I explored the bottom right part of the map first.
I didn't, so I didn't even see it really until like I already heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I'm gonna wait.
Yeah. So, all in all, this game is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. I'll tell you this. My first experience with this game, it was very foreign to me because the only other open world games I played before this was Assassin's Creed. And I know that doesn't even count really as an open world game. But with those, it's more of like, okay, here's your area, here's your checklist, here's all the things you need to collect, all on the map all the time. Here, you're thrown in, you're told hardly anything, good luck. And I have to really forge my way to get where I am now. Because I'll tell you this, when I went to the Zora area the first time, I went there with 4 hearts. And I died probably about 10 or 15 times in the same area with the electric Lizalfos. So I eventually was like, okay, I'm coming back to this later. I did not come back to it until after I had done the Reader Divine Beast and got the Master Sword. So it was one of those things where I had to forge my way up. And for a game to make me not only want to progress more and more, despite the multiple failures, that's saying something. At least in my opinion. So.
It's got a very like a Dark Soulish vibe where just the death almost encourages you to just try again.
Yeah, absolutely. So Liz or Kevin, what about your experience with the game?
Okay, so I've never done an open world game like this before, ever. I haven't done the original Zelda.
You're similar to me as well.
Yeah, but like I haven't even done like Assassin's Creed or anything like that before. Just this, like just normal Zelda or Mario or whatever. And it is pretty natural to me, like in this game specifically. And I'm not sure why. I don't know why this game, I don't think I could do it with any other game really, at least not yet. Like Hell no, I'm not doing Dark Souls. No.
No, not yet.
No. And I think it's because the way they work with the characters and the way they work with cutscenes and how you can find ways around. Like, I avoid the crap out of big enemies. Like, every time I see a Lionel, I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Same with me.
I've only fought one Lionel, and that was the one closest to Zora's domain.
Oh, the one where you had to get the electric arrows?
Yeah. Well, I didn't
challenge.
But I didn't do it until later because I realized I needed a Lionel hoof for something.
Oh.
So that's when I was like, crap, I have to fight one of these things. Okay.
Yeah, you think you weren't gonna get anything out of it?
I know you're gonna get stuff out of it, but I didn't want to fight it. Like I said, I use Stasis Plus. I abuse it.
I will definitely have to check that out now because I do have Stasis Plus already. I've had it for a while, but I didn't know you could use it against the Lionel, so I'm going to try that now.
You can use it against all enemies.
Yeah.
X Factor, what about you? What has been your initial experience with the game?
As it being an open world game, I have played bigger games like this. Maybe not so much that it's focused on side quests and quests specifically, quite to this extent. It does trigger a little want to complete everything as much as I can, which I've done with every other Zelda that I've really played thus far. Typically, it's just a lot of it seems. I've done a lot of open world games that are a lot of fetch quests. You just go and get this and bring it back and whatever. And Zelda has some of those, and it's masked pretty well and made pretty interesting. Just from a game's perspective entirely, I really wish it was really more story driven because I really do like my strong narratives. But the exploration of this game is amazing. I've never played anything like it.
Absolutely.
When it comes to exploration, I just wish the story was a little bit stronger, and I don't know, a couple more characters. But the gameplay, the game world are exceptional, and it's an absolute thrill just to play. Absolutely.
One thing.
Nintendo, all the hard work you put into this game, it is paying off. Look at the sales this game has. They've already sold 1 million Switches in its first month. And even better is that there's actually almost 2 million Breath of the Wild copies that have been sold, mainly because, of course, one wants the one to keep in good condition and then the other one to use. But yeah, this was the perfect game to launch the Switch on.
I mean, the current sales figures has really shown that Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Switch has outsold the Switch.
Yeah, I know. And I'll say, the Wii U version has also been pretty respectable, about 450,000 units, which, considering how few people actually own a Wii U, that's saying something.
And still play the Wii U. But
yeah,
you have that hardcore Nintendo demographic that obviously you're not going to buy the game twice for 2 different systems. You have the really hardcore Nintendo fanboys, fangirls, whatever you want to call them, that are going to go to the Switch no matter what. I guess I'm included. And you get Zelda Breath of the Wild for the Switch, but you're not going to get it for the Wii U. The Wii U version is really for those people that are not convinced in the Switch yet, are going to hold off buying the Switch, or literally can't find one and can't wait to play Zelda and get it on the Wii U.
Yeah, and that's the same with me, is that I just did not have the money for the Switch. So as long as it's coming out on the Wii U, I'm going to play the crap out of it.
Mm-hmm. It's for sure the Wii U's definite swan song.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because it's the same basic thing, just at a different time period from when it was Twilight Princess for GameCube and Wii. I actually had the GameCube version, where everyone else had the Wii version. And now, like, I have Twilight Princess HD because it is still, by and large, my favorite Zelda game of all time. This is creeping up on it very quickly, though. This may surpass Twilight Princess.
This game makes it so hard This game makes it so hard for me to say which one's my favorite now because there are so many Zelda games that each one does something specifically well that's my favorite for that part.
Mm-hmm.
Like Breath of the Wild does exploration the best I've ever seen, but I don't feel like it did storytelling very well. And
Mhm. With
combat,
Twilight Princess, we had the best company we ever had.
which I agree, but looking back at it now, the story itself seems kind of pointless when you really think about it. But when you're actually playing it, it's actually really a
At
really
least
cool.
it's not Skyward Sword levels of you're going to these same 3 areas like 5 different times, and the tasks are slightly different each time.
Yeah, you just retread ground a lot.
Oh my gosh.
Kind of not, but that's for another day.
Yeah.
And of course, Breath of the
So,
Wild, it's your entire ground is literally right there. It's for you to tread back and forth, and you tread it once, you find everything there, but you tread it again, you missed something.
yeah.
Like, what? How'd I miss
Yeah.
this?
Yes,
Stupid
indeed.
bugs.
When we're talking about retreading old ground, though, you have to talk about the dungeons. The dungeons have a specific theme that goes around them, and it's really nice how the dungeons have taken a very particular puzzle sense
Mhm.
rather than a normal organic mini boss combat, get an item that we usually come to expect. But then again, it's literally just puzzles. Like you are used to stocking up on weapons, potions, whatever you need, go into the dungeon ready to fight. When in this case, you don't really need to, except for the boss at the end. It's mostly just puzzles.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of wish I had those epic moments that I have going through a dungeon and maybe not have everything I need and have to leave and come back to be fully prepared to take on a dungeon. I just wish there was more of a middle ground than what we got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Can I
yeah.
say one
Go
thing
on.
that I do wish was different?
All right.
I wish Link was more expressive. Like
Okay.
he's very straight faced through the entire game, and
He is pretty much.
that bothers me. It's like
Yeah. Outside of the memories, he is expressionless.
like
Yeah.
he's expressionless in the memories too.
Oh
Like
no, he seemed to have quite a few expressions when he was being sexually harassed by the Great Fairies. I'm just saying.
well, yeah, during that, but like he's so straight faced half the time, and that bothers me because Link has been full of expression before in the past, like Wind Waker, Twilight, Skyward. He's had
Yeah.
expressions there, and I'm kind of sad that they didn't like meet that almost.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've come a long way from the blank slate Link that we've been first introduced to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think we should probably, a good way to end this kind of discussion is to really maybe not compare it to our favorite Zelda games, but give us our own rating of 1 to 10. What do we would rate Zelda Breath of the Wild?
I would rate this a 9.5. It is not a masterpiece. There are a few things that bug me a little bit, but for the most part, this game impresses me immensely. So I give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Liz?
I'd say 8 or a 9. I don't know. I don't know how to rate this because I'm still exploring things.
Well,
Like,
okay, you
yeah,
have a good point on that. But like,
but
compare it to other Zelda games or other games that you have played in your past time. How much have you been enjoying or having fun with this game?
oh, I'm having a blast. When I first got it, I got it during Easter because I've been on tour, so I hadn't had a chance to get to it yet. And I played it every day for hours and hours and hours and hours. Like that's how I got as far as you guys in a short amount of time.
How many hours have we put into the game? Do we know? Each of us? I think I have 140 hours.
Oh
I
my
have no idea.
gosh. I probably only have about 20 hours total right now. But then again, I have a lot of work and a lot of other commitments. And so gaming is, especially this game, is kind of taking a backseat, unfortunately. But I play it as often as I can.
What'd you say, Liz?
I would have to look. I honestly don't know. Like, can you even check how many hours you've been playing?
You can. It doesn't give you an exact number per se, but it'll say over however many hours. On the Switch, you would go to your home menu and you would look at your profile, and it says what you've been playing. And underneath the game, it would say played for over such and such hours, which is usually within 5 hours of how long you've actually been playing.
Okay, I'll check that out and see.
But yeah,
but like,
I've done 140 hours. almost all the shrines, a lot of the Korok seeds, to the point of where I kinda having difficulty to go back to the game. Really, if I really want to be completion at stake, right now I've been kind of like playing Persona 5, and it's sidetracked me to another game to play. But like again, it's just a joy to play. But I've gotten to the point where I found as much as I can naturally exploring. Anything else, I'm gonna have to have a guide to find exactly what the shrines are, because I've done all the side quests, all the shrine quests, everything in my logs that I have found, I have completed. It's just I haven't found the start of another quest that's out there somewhere.
Yeah.
So, but what I would rank Zelda Breath of the Wild, I think it deserves for what it has done and everything that it has done to the genre as a Zelda's game. Maybe it does have faults in the storytelling, but it's not bad faults. It's just points of improvement. I'd still call it a masterpiece and give it a 10 out of 10.
All right.
That's definitely fair. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like it's also hard to compare this to other Zelda games because, like,
Because it's so diametrically different.
even though it goes back to the original Legend of Zelda, it's like you can't really compare those two either because they're from two completely different times.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like every Zelda game that comes out, people want to compare them to each other, and that makes sense. But it's like sometimes you really can't, almost in a way. Like you can compare the elements, but not like the games themselves.
Well, when it comes to comparing the games one-to-one, I see what you're saying, the difficulty there. But when it comes to me, even when comparing games or giving something a numerical score like this, like we've been, it's just amount of how much fun have I enjoyed playing this game, even regardless some of the faults that it may have. Am I really having such a good time that I really don't care about anything else? Like, I'm having so much fun that the little faults that I find don't really bother me. I can totally overlook it and just keep having fun playing. If I can do that without a single care in the world, it's a 10 out of 10 to me.
No,
Yeah.
that makes sense. If it was going by that, I'd definitely give it a 9.5 or a 10. Like, definitely.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this game is awesome. I'm glad we were able to talk about this because I've had a lot to say, and I'm glad I was able to say it here. So again, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe button links for all of us are down in the description, as well as timestamps, because this is quite a long video, and I never want to have timestamps.
Hour and a half.
Woohoo!
So yeah, thanks so much for watching, and that's it from me, Dark Samus 288.
Me, X Factor, Detective X Factor.
And Laughing Hyena.
And we will talk to you guys later. Until next time, have a great game.
Take care.
Beep.